Hey everyone, welcome to today's Program Yourself Thin podcast. Today we're talking about weight loss is easy when you allow it to be. Now you have to understand that if you've been trying to lose weight for a long time, that you basically think like a dieter, right? You think about weight loss as a dieter, and dieting by definition is hard. So by definition, you think of weight loss as being hard, but that's only because you think of weight loss as a dieter. And so how do dieters think about weight loss? Well, they think about how can I lose weight as fast as possible? That's how dieters think about weight loss. And trying to lose weight as fast as possible is hard. It's like anything else. If you wanted to learn, how to play golf as fast as possible, that's the hardest path. If you try and learn to play a musical instrument as fast as possible, that's the hardest path. Okay, you have to work the hardest. You have to put the most effort in the shortest amount of time. It's the most difficult by definition. So, in order to make weight loss easy, as it is, you have to go into it with a different mindset. You have to let go of the diet mindset and step into a different one. And that mindset starts by realizing that dieting is hard because you don't give yourself any time. There is no time limit that's fast enough. It's literally how much weight can I lose today, this week? That's how dieters think about weight loss. So you need to extend that time frame and realize right off the bat that the goal is not to lose weight, it's to live at your goal weight. And living at your goal weight, you want to live at forever, I imagine. Or would you just like to lose weight and then put it back on? Well, it sounds silly when I say that. Obviously, you want to stay at your goal weight forever. No shit, Jim. That's what I want. I get that. But the way you're always approaching it is you're only fixated on how fast you can get there. And the fastest way to get to your goal weight is the hardest. And if we choose the fastest way to get to your goal weight, technically, I suppose, would be literally dry fasting, where you literally stop putting anything in your mouth. That's probably the fastest way to lose weight. It's also the hardest. And it's also the shortest lasting one. Okay, so once we shift our focus from losing weight to living at our goal weight, we expand our time frame. And that's the secret to making weight loss easy. That's the secret to making anything you want to learn or do easy, is to give yourself some time. So what do they say? Inch by inch, life's a cinch. Yard by yard, everything's hard. Okay. So one of the core reasons why weight loss is so hard for you is because you think like a dieter. And the reason why I think like a dieter makes it so hard is because you give yourself this much time to do it. You're always in a rush. It's always about how fast you can do it. And the only way you can do it fast is by doing something extreme. And extreme things are hard. So if we let go of that paradigm, if we let go of the idea that, you know what, I don't just want to lose weight. I want to live at my goal weight for the rest of my life on your autopilot. Now we start to put ourselves in the position of thinking about weight almost like college, right? If you went to college or if you got some certification in some area of your life in a profession, it took a while. Which doesn't say it was easy, but it was a lot easier to get your college degree over 4 years than it would be to try and do it in 3 months. So giving ourselves more time is the first and most important step to making weight loss easy. Now, the second piece of making weight loss easy is to build your weight loss around things that are easy. Now you say, what, what's that mean? Here's what I'm saying is that because you think like a dieter, your complete paradigm is built around it being hard. You want it as fast as possible, which defines that as being, you're going to have to do the hardest thing possible. So deep down, if you're a dieter, you want the weight loss to be hard because you associate hard with fast. And that's what you value most. So subconsciously, how you think about weight loss is you think about what's the hardest thing I can do because that's going to give me the fastest results. And that's what I value most. So once we let go of that and realize I don't give a shit how fast I get the results. I care how long I'm able to maintain them. Now that starts to bring us to the second level that, okay, if I'm going to maintain these results, I'm going to have to go about this differently. I'm going to have to create behaviors that are somewhat automated. And this is where things get interesting because if you look at your toothbrushing habit, this is a habit that you installed into your subconscious mind. And now you installed it for what, a year, 2 years? And now it has run automatically the rest of your life. You don't have to worry about remembering it. You don't have to think about it. You just automatically do it. naturally and automatically. Just pops in your head at the times you do it every day. And so now you don't have to worry or focus or obsess on brushing your teeth. You just do it. And if you realize how powerful this is, you realize you've done this with lots of things: riding a bike, writing, reading, using a computer mouse, driving your car, walking, running, skills, drawing if you draw, playing a musical instrument, dancing, whatever things you can do that you've learned that you didn't know how to do. And now you do them on autopilot. You don't have to think about those things. You can just do them. So if you realize the power of that part of your mind and you start to build your weight loss and ultimate weight mastery around this part of your mind, what ends up happening is you set yourself up to make weight loss and ultimately living at that goal weight easy. So what do I mean specifically? Well, let's just talk about in Program Yourself. Then we follow the weight mastery pyramid: mindset, lifestyle, eating. So let's just go to lifestyle because it's the easiest one to understand. It's basically 8 habits, right? So in order of importance: sleep, hydration, relaxation, breathing, nourishment, movement, meditation, gratitude. What if you installed these into your subconscious mind so they ran automatically, just like your toothbrushing habit? What if you installed and programmed your mind to go to bed at a time and sleep in a way that got you a solid 8 hours of sleep every night? What if you programmed your mind to drink the perfect amount of water every day? What if you programmed your mind to be more relaxed and calm and breathe properly? What if you programmed your mind to nourish yourself at a high level regularly on near autopilot? What if you programmed your mind to move more? What if you programmed your mind to have a quieter mind so you meditated and could silence it and quiet and feel more peaceful? What if you programmed your mind to be more grateful? What if you programmed your mind to eat in a way that kept you at your goal weight naturally and automatically? Now you say, oh, really? Could I do that? Yeah, you absolutely can do it. Your eating's already been programmed, by the way. You ever wondered why you do everything you can to fight against your weight and you can't change it? It's because you've been subconsciously programmed to be overweight. But you can program your subconscious mind to make you thin and healthy too. You've just never learned how to do it. And so once you figure out how to do it and you do it, guess what? Weight loss becomes easy. I sit before you as someone who's lost 50 pounds and been at the same weight for 30 years easily. Not one diet, barely any working out at all. Over 30 years, same weight. Why? I program my subconscious mind to think, live, and eat like a thin and healthy person. So that's what I do. And it feels as automatic to me as you brushing your teeth. Just do it. But you've never learned this way because you're a dieter. So if you want to learn this way, click the link in my bio or go to Program Yourself, then get the free hypnosis session I made for you. Watch the video I made for you. Read the emails I send to you because they will help you make weight loss easy. And I hope this helps you out. So if anyone has any questions, feel free to ask them. That's what I'm here for, is to help you master your weight, become healthier, happier person you want to be. Julita says, hi, is calorie deficit the only thing needed to lose weight, or is it what you eat as well? Yeah, that's an interesting way to frame that question. Cause yeah, calorie deficit, right? Supposedly you could make it one way or the other. You could either decrease your calories or you can increase your activity. However, increasing your activity doesn't work the way you think it does. There's a thing called the constrained energy expenditure concept. And so, yeah, to lose weight, what you need to do is reduce your average calorie consumption. That's the golden path to mastering your weight, to losing weight and then mastering it, is to reduce the amount of calories you're putting in your body on average. That's the main way. So focusing on the exercising is almost never going to help you lose weight for a number of reasons. The real best chance you have of losing weight and keeping it off is to reduce your average calorie consumption. So I would suggest you stop with the exercising if you're not an exercise person who enjoys exercising for other reasons. If you're just exercising to lose weight, I would suggest you stop that unless it's working for you and you put that energy into getting your eating under control. So hope that helps. Yeah. Don says slow equals permanent. Yes, absolutely. And Don is absolute proof of that. Don has absolutely mastered her weight and she's there just mastering it more. But yes, Don is a wonderful example of this. And yeah, slow equals permanent. And I couldn't agree more. And that's what I see over and over and over again. So again, if slow equals permanent, I believe it does, then fast equals temporary. And isn't that been most of your all's experiences, that the faster you lose the weight, the less long it lasts? Yeah. So yeah, slow is permanent. And again, we've been conditioned our whole lives to just be totally impatient when it comes to weight. And so I've been thinking a lot about that. I've been talking about this book I've been reading, The Beauty Myth, and it's it just highlights. I mean, there's just so much bullshit that is foisted on us in this environment, in this culture. A lot of bullshit. A lot of good stuff too, but there's a lot of bullshit. And I think if you're going to lead a happy, healthy life, most of us are going to have to be able to identify the bullshit and then escape it and create a new reality for ourselves. And that happens in a bunch of different contexts. So the beauty myth talks about that, for women, how, the beauty myth is foisted on you, shit genetically. I mean, it's foisted on your mom, foisted on your grandmother. So it's generational. And then it's super foisted on you. And so you're at the mercy of this. You're born into this environment. And just like the Matrix, it's up to you to kind of realize, oh shit, and then figure a way out. Because it's no different than the food at this point. You know what I mean? The food, we've been conditioned with this bullshit food in our lives since we were born. And it's just getting worse and worse in a lot of ways. And weight loss, diet industry, same thing. We were born into this bullshit about how to lose weight. And it's fucking bullshit. That's why 75% of the population is overweight or obese. So it is up to us as humans to, the areas of our lives that we're struggling with and not getting the results we want. I would suggest that you recognize the systems of bullshit that you were born into so that you can define them and then ultimately escape from them. And that's what I'm here to help you all with out every day, is to help you identify the systems of control that are impacting your weight. Because it's very interesting stuff. I mean, again, you're a smart, intelligent person if you're listening to this. I can almost guarantee it. And you're just tortured by the idea of what the fuck is wrong with me. I know better and I'm not doing it. And so you're trapped in this diet mindset where you're constantly beating yourself up for being unable to change your behavior. And it is my mission in life to get on here and in other ways, help people realize that you've never learned how to control your weight in this environment. And it's a relatively new thing, because most of history, I mean, shit, up until about 100 years ago, your weight was just automatically controlled because of the environment. There just wasn't an abundance of hyperpalatable foods. So it was a lot harder to struggle with weight in that environment. But now we live in an alien environment where we're literally surrounded by hyperpalatable foods. And on top of that we're constantly being manipulated through marketing to overconsume them and focus on them and get obsessed with them. So it's an alien environment that's working against you. And I think the way to resolve it is to first take a step out of it. Because when you're inside of it, it's hard to see it. So to take a step out of it, you start to have more perspective of it. And then I think that is kind of the first step to being able to truly free yourself of it. And technically, you're not freeing yourself of it. Technically, what you're doing is you're creating another paradigm, another reality to live in. And that's what I always seek to share with you. And that's certainly what I work with my clients on, is developing and stepping into and living within that new reality. And it takes time, just like anything else. Anything else you've learned, it took time to read and write. It took time to ride your bike. It took time to learn how to do anything you've done. But once you learn it, once you learn how to read and write, you got it forever. There's no way in the world you could ever not know how to read English. Never in your life will you forget how to read English, short of some, thing going on in your mind. But you couldn't not know how to read English at this point, and it's never going away. And so once you learn something new, once you learn how to think, live, and eat like a thin, healthy person, and you step into that reality and program your mind to do it, that becomes the new reality for you, and it becomes permanent and it becomes easy. So hope that makes sense. Because I know it's an outlier idea. I get that. That's why I get on here every day. Because, to learn something takes repetition and reinforcement. And that's another concept that's really important. Like I could sit here and tell you facts and information, and you're like, oh my God, oh shit, I've never thought of that. And it's a paradigm shift for a second, but then the old paradigm kicks right back in. The dominant paradigm is you think like a dieter. When it comes to your weight, your dominant paradigm is to think like a dieter. And so you can listen to my podcast and you step out of that for a little bit of time, and then you snap right back into it. And, that's why. My three loves says, thank you, Jim. You're welcome. You're welcome. That says good points. Thank you. Glad you appreciate them. That's what I'm here for. I really am too. This is a mission for me. As I always say, to me, this is really important stuff. This really isn't just about looking better. I write in blue says, what do you think about intuitive eating? I think intuitive eating is a bunch of bullshit, pretty much. The way most people think about it, I think it's a crock of shit. Because if you're overweight and have been overweight for a while, guess what your intuitions are? That of an overweight person. So how are you gonna, it'd almost be better to call it anti-intuitive eating. So if you started to really pay attention to your intuitions and then did the opposite of them, that I might be more compelled to believe. But what intuitions exactly are you going to follow? And I know the idea is that you just automatically have a magical intuitive ability to know exactly when you ate enough food and to stop. Is that what you're going to base intuitive eating on? Good luck with that. Good luck with that. I deal with intuitions all day long. I have trained my intuitions to be better, but I don't know what intuitions people are referring to, because your core intuitions are to eat everything in sight. Your core intuitions are to eat as many calories as you possibly can. So that intuitive eating to me is a hodgepodge of bullshit, in my opinion. And I think just like anything else, there's grains of truth to it. But as a whole system, I don't think we're ever going to see intuitive eating as a legitimate source of being able to control your eating and weight. So I give it I don't believe in it. I think it's, I don't know. Program Yourself Thin. My biggest challenge with Program Yourself Thin, I will let you know, and I'm dealing with this right now, is making it succinct and simple and easy. Because what I believe is that weight mastery is a comprehensive, holistic thing. I think of weight mastery like a bachelor's degree. And if you go and know anything about bachelor's degrees, you study a whole bunch of shit to get it. You study classes, you take classes for 4 years. You're taking 3 to 4 classes a semester. So you're taking 6 to 8 classes a year. Intense classes, right? So you're talking like 30 classes, intense classes, each class for 4 months to get that degree. So, I mean, to be completely honest, I've been at this for 30 years. And so it seems to me, I know no one wants to hear this because you just want, just tell me how to program my mind. Come on, just tell me the secret. You've been conditioned to think of weight loss as like it's a secret. I always say this. The dieting is like a get rich quick scheme, right? So dieting is like a get rich quick scheme. And what get rich quick scheme works? None of them, I don't know, as far as I can tell. And so dieting is like that. So people spend their entire lives chasing schemes and hacks and tricks and shit like that. And it's like, you know what? Just fucking do the work. It's easier. Just put your time and do the work and then be done with it. That's my philosophy. So my biggest challenge with Program Yourself Thin, though, is taking all this stuff and making it really easy and accessible. Because there's a lot of things you got to figure out. So, I mean, I break it down into mindset, lifestyle, and eating. Mindset, 6 categories. It's motivation, self-image, habits, how to deal with habits, how to deal with your emotions, how to think like a thin, healthy person, and how to maintain, how to stay the course. That's mindset. Lifestyle, as I said, is sleep, hydration, relaxation, breathing, nourishment, movement, meditation, gratitude. How do you weave those into your life so they run automatically? And then eating is really about how to structure your eating in a way that works for you, and then how to optimize it so that you can get to your goal weight and then stay there forever. And then that's what to do. And then there's how to get yourself to do it, which is the Program Yourself Thin technique, how to program your subconscious mind. It's easy. It's not rocket science, but you've never learned how to do it. The good news is you do it to yourself already. You're always programming your mind. You are your own best or worst hypnotist. You're in control of your weight primarily because of the self-hypnotic effect you have on yourself. Now, I know you're like, what are you talking about? No. it's a thing. But so anyway, so there's a lot to it, you know what I mean? And so it's up to me, to try and make it as accessible as possible. Like how fast can I teach you all this stuff? Because dieters, I just want it now. If I haven't lost any weight yet, it's been 2 weeks and I haven't lost any weight, Jim. You know what I mean? That's my biggest challenge for my work, is that I don't get people with the commitment level of someone going to college. I get someone who wants to lose weight this week. So that's the biggest challenge for me. But intuitive eating, again, it's a couple ideas. Most diets are built around the one concept philosophy, right? So I don't know if you know this. I study a lot of weight loss marketing, and pretty much all diets and weight loss methods come down to one thing. That's what it's called, the one thing philosophy, because everyone knows that people, at this point, you've been struggling with your weight for decades. You've tried all the diets and you're apathetic, you're stressed out, you're exhausted, you're tired of thinking about it. And so the idea that you're going to get some comprehensive, holistic strategy to master fuck that. So it's the one thing, right? And so every diet is one thing. Ketos, don't eat carbs. Carnivores, just eat meat. Intermittent fasting, don't eat for 16 hours. Weight Watchers, count your points. Counting calories, count your calories. Intuitive eating, just eat intuitively. And so all these weight loss plans are built around one thing. And I have never once seen one thing that would be like saying, oh, I'll go to college, I want to get an accounting degree. Okay, well, you just got to learn how to just balance the books. I don't know. There's a lot more to it than that. And so I know that scares a lot of people off, but I don't give a fuck, because that's why I can get out of here for free. And I know the only people that join my program are overthinkers that they like meaty things. They love college and learning shit and overthinking. And again, the people that join my program are overthinker, type A people, action oriented, all the rest of it. And so I always make a point of saying that, because I don't want anyone who's not like that to get my program. It's not going to work for you. You're not going to like it. So I'm not trying to sell my program. I used to sell my program just as a hypnosis program. And I quickly stopped doing that, because I'm like, you know what? I can make anyone lose weight. Like, if you'll listen to my hypnosis program, I guarantee you'll lose weight. I proved this last year. I didn't refund one program because I guaranteed. I'll guarantee you'll lose weight, or I'll refund. I'll give you your money back. But I don't give a fuck. I don't want to sell it, because I don't want to help you lose weight. I don't give a shit about helping you lose weight for a fucking week or a month. I care about you mastering your weight. And if you don't care enough to actually put the time and effort into mastering your weight, then this is not the program for you. And it's not the program for most people. I'm aware of that. But intuitive eating to me is just simple. It's a simpleton idea that's put out there. It sounds simple, and let me see you actually enact it. With all these diets, there's no there, because the core problem exists with every single diet. I don't give a shit if you're a carnivore or a vegan. The same problem exists, the exact same problem. And it's this, that every diet and every workout program, every weight loss plan that you know of, is someone telling you what to do. And then you're left on your own to figure out how to get yourself to do it. And you've got one tool and one tool only to do it, which is willpower. So you could go see a dietitian who gives you a customized blueprint plan built around you, and you're still not going to lose weight, most likely, because you won't be able to follow it, because you have no idea how to change your behavior. And so the idea that you're magically going to become an intuitive eater, I think, is bullshit. Now, do I believe in the concept of intuitive eating? Absolutely. I believe there's certain aspects of truth and value in every diet that I've ever seen practically. But as a whole, I haven't seen one diet that works, and neither have you. I find this fascinating that in all the years of dieting, there's not one diet that works. They all work for a little while. There's not one diet that works long-term. That's a crazy fucking idea. The closest you could get to is maybe Weight Watchers. And to be honest, I mean, my program is half Weight Watchers people. It's not the final answer. So that's what I think of intuitive eating. Yeah. Kelly says intuitive eating is not a diet or a weight loss plan. Exactly. It's just an idea. And I get it. I mean, I could, like I said, I could become a multimillionaire just selling a hypnosis program. I could do it. No problem at all. But what would happen is people would lose weight for a little while. It would work. And then they put the weight back on. And I'm not doing that. I'm not contributing to it. And I thought last week, I said, fuck, if people just want to lose weight, I'll just help them do it. And I said, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I don't want to. You either want to master your weight or you don't. And that's fine. I don't care. If you want to master your weight, I'm here to help you. And if you don't, then that's fine too. There's no judgment, but anyways. Because intuitive eating is way more involved than just trusting your intuition. I think you would agree with some of the main principles. It's not about losing weight though. Yeah, no, I definitely agree with the main principles. I know that, but it's whoops. Uh yeah. I think it's I mean, to be completely honest, I just think it's somewhat half-baked. But hey, teach their own, you know what I mean? Like I always say, like if you're intuitive eating though, on the same hand, if you're intuitive eating and you've lost the weight and you've been living it that way for a while and it's working magic for you, don't listen to me. There's because golden, program yourself thin is the golden rule. There's no right or wrong. There's only what works for you. So if you're intuitive eating and mastering and killing it and you love it, then that's more truthful than what I'm saying. Same shit with any of it. If you're a carnivore and you've been a carnivore for 20 years and you love it and you thrive and everything's great, then ignore what I'm saying, you know? But I think for most people, the intuitive eating, again, I think it's a piece of the puzzle. There's absolutely intuitive concept ideas in Program Yourself Thin. There's no question about that. And people could say, well, look, Jim, they're very similar. I don't disagree with that. What I'm saying is, as a whole system, I don't think it's going to give you everything you need. That's what I think. I think you should study it, learn. Again, everything I do is taken out of Bruce Lee's philosophy. Bruce Lee was a legit martial artist and a philosopher, by the way. And he created a martial art called Jeet Kune Do. And his philosophy is he would literally study any fighting system. He would study boxing, kung fu, karate, taekwondo. He'd study literally anything, fencing, boxing, all of it. And he would take what worked for him and discard the rest in creation of his own one-of-a-kind system that worked for him. And I suggest you do the same thing here, is that you create a one-of-a-kind system that works for you. Because ultimately that's the goal here. Rachel says, intuitive eating put me in a dieting headspin, always trying to decide if I was hungry enough to eat or not. All I could think about was, should I eat? What should I eat? When should I eat? Yeah, exactly. The structured eating of PY Program Yourself Thin is so much better for me. My hunger is managed and I already know what and when I'm going to eat. Simple meals I like and keep me full. That's just one example in a nutshell. I'm the same way. If I listen to my intuition, I'm always hungry. I could always eat. I don't know if you're like that. Maybe you're not. Maybe, because again, we all have different intuitions too. What if you have the intuitions of an overweight person though? That's exactly what happens is you can get yourself exactly like spun out because you're like, am I hungry? Should I eat? Should I trust my body? Should I listen to it? I have found me personally, I can't trust my body and mind. I know that sounds like, oh, you shouldn't say that. You should be able to trust. Why should you be able to trust your body and mind? Your body and mind have grown in a fucked up environment where you've been conditioned and trained since birth to be an overeater, to crave unhealthy foods. So what does intuition mean? Do you think you have like a body and mind that were just natural and now we just layer this stuff over? Do you know about neuroplasticity? You're literally wired. Maybe some people aren't. Maybe some people are just hardwired to be thin and healthy. I don't understand that because I still can't try. If all of a sudden you took my structured eating away, my calories would ramp up, guaranteed. I did that this week. I made cookies this weekend. All of a sudden, what do you know? I don't have a cookie, right? A little breakfast dessert, right? I wait about an hour after breakfast. Oh, a little cookie with coffee will be good. That slid right in there. What's my intuition say? This is fucking delicious. This is great. I feel great. This is awesome. So I don't know. Like I said, teach their own. Everyone gets to do what they want. But if this all falls in Program Yourself Thin, because everything in Program Yourself Thin is what works for you. So someone said, well, no, Jim, intuitive eating works great for me. Great. I think that's great. I think for the vast majority of people, though, they're going to find that it's not enough. That there's not enough structure. There's not enough explanation of how to master your weight. Everything I share with you is from people that have successfully lost weight and kept it off long-term. And I think that makes me one of the very few programs that's built that way. I will tell you that, because most programs are built around losing weight and they're modeled after people that have lost weight doing it for a little while. So anyways. X says, why many people say menopause makes them fat? Is it because they eat more or move less? Yeah. I mean, menopause, the main thing about menopause is that there is changes too, by the way. I want to be crystal clear here because I'm not sitting here. I don't want to be one of these people that just denies reality. When when you're in menopause, any phase of menopause, insulin resistance, type 2 diabetes, Hashimoto's, PCOS, all these different things are real. You're on steroids, you're on medications. These are all real physical issues. They're real. They're affecting your body and mind. Okay. But the weight gain from those things is almost always that it's driving you to consume more calories. I don't know about, short of steroids, but even steroids, they make you hungrier. So it's like, if you know about this, let me know. But I don't know of something that happens where you consume the same amount of calories and your weight goes up. Now, I know people feel like they're consuming the same amount of calories. So I am not, please do not write in the comments, no, Jim, I've eaten the same and my weight went up, because you don't know. Humans are very unaware of what they're consuming. So when someone tells me, no, Jim, I'm eating the same amount, my weight's going up, I've dropped my calories and I'm not losing weight, I don't believe you. Don't take that personally. That just comes from literal science that I've studied. When they actually put people into situations where they actually measure the calories, they always lose weight. Some people lose weight quicker and slower. There's no question about that. But people always end up losing weight if you reduce their average calorie consumption over time. I've never seen an exception to that. And likewise, all my experience, I've done over 6,000 private weight loss sessions. I've never worked with someone who hasn't made changes in their eating that hasn't lost weight. I've had people that thought they made changes. So I don't know. I know that's a hard one, but yeah, Nick says, like, if we binge salad when we crave for meds, side effects. Yeah, but I mean, that's a smarter plan. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like if you start taking a medication, let's just use that as an example. You start taking a medicine and it starts triggering you to be hungrier. That's real. That's fucking real. Okay. But we can't say, oh, the medicine's making me gain weight. And let me take a step back. And I think it'd be helpful for all of you. Technically, you can't gain or lose weight. Like, again, it's semantically, it's an semantically ill-formed is how a linguist would say that. Because technically, in a linguistic sense, you can't lose weight. You can't gain weight. You have no control over that direct process. And the joke is, short of chopping a limb off, that's how you could lose weight now. I want to lose weight now. I want to lose 10 pounds. Well, that's it. Because technically what you can do is you can eat less, you can eat more, and you could change how you're living to some degree. And then over time, through some magical process that you have no idea about, your weight either goes up or down. So your locus of control is not in the gaining or losing weight. It's in the eating less or more, living healthier or unhealthier. That's your locus of control. And then through some magical process and time, your weight will show that. So it's cause and effect. The weight is an effect. The cause is what you're eating and how you're living. And we confuse ourselves. And I think this is very intentional. I'm a big conspiracy theorist when it comes to dieting and weight in general. I think there's tons and tons and tons and tons of money being made off of people being overweight, unhealthy, and unhappy. I think it's a primary driver of the economy. And so I think right down to the concept of losing weight. I was talking about like climate change. Climate change was a focus grouped phrase to replace pollution. Because pollution's very hit you in the face. It's very obvious. Climate change is squirrelier. You can have a hot day or a cold day and say, oh, what the fuck? It's climate. So losing weight, gaining weight is very similar to this. It confuses our subconscious mind because we have no control over gaining or losing weight. So it confuses our mind a bit. And if we focus on eating more, eating less, that's where we have the power and the control. So if you say, instead of saying, oh, I got menopause and I started eating more, it's just say, like, oh, I started taking this medicine or it's menopause and I started gaining weight. Well, that puts the control on, it blames the menopause or the medicine. And now I started gaining weight. Something magical happened in my body, and now my body just started gaining weight. Well, we have no power in that situation, right? We feel powerless. The language causes us to feel powerless because, well, the medicine, weight gain, menopause, weight gain, insulin resistant, weight gain, direct. But that's not true. What really semantically a well-formed statement would be, I started taking this medicine and I got hungry and I started eating more and now my weight went up. I hit menopause and I started eating more and my weight's going up because I'm hungrier. Okay. But that's much more accurate. Your subconscious mind's like, oh, okay, I get it. At least we can work with this. With this other one here, it's like making money, right? Again, I always say that, like, making money, you can't make money. Another semantically ill-formed statement, unless you have a counterfeiting machine, right? But you don't, when you say making money, that's not really true. And it's confusing because you can't make money. You can provide more value. You can work more hours, and then the money comes. It's an effect. And this is confusing to our subconscious mind because it is semantically ill-formed. Our subconscious mind is extremely literal. So the more literal and accurate our language becomes, that is part of detangling the knot and getting more control ultimately over our weight. But our weight is always a reflection. You can't control your weight directly. Again, short of chopping a limb off, liposuctioning, that's about it. Okay. So the only way you can control your weight, because your weight is a reflection and effect of the cause. So we have to focus on the cause. And the more you use language that reflects that, you're going to feel a lot more grounded. So a lot of the language of weight loss is confusing subconsciously. I think it's intentional, whatever. So anyway, I think that, again, I took medicine and now I'm really hungry. Okay, great. I'm hungry. What can I do to deal with the hunger? Well, I can start relaxing some more. I can drink some more water. I can get some more sleep. Those things will help me. Well, I'm still hungrier than I was, but that did help a bit. Okay, when I get hungry, what do I want to eat? Well, let's focus on some low calorie density foods, salad, fruits, vegetables, apples. I'm going to utilize this extra hunger. This hunger is going to serve me because I'm going to use this extra hunger as a motivation, as an engine to get more healthy, nourishing foods into my body, some more vitamins, some more fiber into my body. Now, what a different conversation we're having than, oh my God, I took this medicine. It's making me gain, my weight's blowing up now. No control. You have no power in that context. Hope that makes sense. Next says, thank you so much, Jim. This is very helpful. I'm glad. I'm really glad, because this is a thing a lot of people suffer with. And again, this, I hope this is hypnosis. What I just discussed here, this is hypnosis. Hypnosis is the language. It's the words. It's the internal dialogue. You know how you talk to yourself all day? That's hypnosis. The words you think in, the phrases, the concepts you think within, that's hypnosis. Hypnosis is not putting someone to, you're not going to eat anymore. You're not going to eat anymore. You're not going to eat any more food. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. The real hypnosis is what you're saying to yourself day in and day out. That's the real hypnosis. That's why program yourself thin. It's you taking control of your mind so that you, again, you are your best or your worst hypnotist. You start to become your best hypnotist, and that hypnotist resides inside your mind, and it's constantly helping you succeed. That, to me, is the path to success. So, great question. I'm glad you let me go down that rabbit hole. So yeah, sorry TikTok. If you guys have questions, then we can get to them. This is live. I know sometimes I get carried away with other things. And what's up, Carrie? How's it going? Curveball says, I worked with a nutritionist who pushed intuitive eating. Most confusing experience. I bet. I could see that. That's kind of two things, right? I don't know. Like it's just funny. Yeah. Okay. So Rachel I gained 20 pounds in menopause and I'm now down 13. It's because I figured out that this stage of life required different habits and strategies for me. Agreed. That's why, again, program yourself thin is so important, because the problem with the diets is they're very rigid and strict, and life and people are not. And so you need to have the ability to adapt to different situations, getting older, menopause, medicines, different situations. But again, yeah. And again, if you look at Japanese women, their BMI stays consistent throughout their lives. They go through menopause. It's a limiting belief. The menopause weight gain that's hypnosis. If you want to know it, you experience hypnosis every day, by the way. So I did a lesson on this recently, but it's so ridiculous when people ask me, "Oh, do you think I could be hypnotized?" We're all hypnotized constantly. We cannot not be hypnotized. Our human brains are extremely hypnotic brains. And you've been hypnotized to be overweight. And the idea like, oh, menopause weight gain, that's a hypnotic suggestion. So, yeah. So we got to take control of our mindset if we're going to have any chance. That's what I think anyways. Herbal says, same, I could always eat. To trust that makes zero sense. Yeah. Yeah. And again, if you're one of these people, but listen, if you were one of these people who just like listen to your intuitions and it was like, oh no, I'm good. I don't. What is an intuition? I like looking up the definitions of things. The ability to understand something immediately without the need for conscious reasoning. A thing that one knows or considers likely from instinctive feeling rather than conscious reasoning. Yeah. I mean, to me, that's what Program Yourself Thin is that we're not focusing on the conscious, logical nature of what I should eat. We're focusing on the feeling. So there's an aspect of it for sure, but I think they got to work together because your intuitions have been trained your whole life. So, I'm an NLP trainer. So a lot of NLP evolved from intuitions because the guys that started NLP, one of them he used to record Virginia Satir. She was a world famous family therapist. Okay. And so he would watch her and he would say, how does she know to do this stuff? How does she know to say these things? And how is she doing what she's doing? She's working magic. How is she doing it? And what he came up with is the idea that and he talked to her and she goes, well, I just kind of follow my intuitions. And when you talk to really good people that are very talented and skilled at something, they oftentimes will say things like that. Well, I follow my intuitions. But those intuitions have been developed, right? So if intuitions can be developed and you lived in America, your intuitions have been developed to be an overeater, to be overweight. If you're overweight and have been for a while, do you think you have thin intuitions in there? What's that mean? We say, I'll eat normal and natural. Well, you don't live in a normal, natural environment anymore. You don't live surrounded by normal, natural foods. Because I think what intuitive eating does is it references back in the day when people ate intuitively. Well, yeah, if I take your fucking ass and throw you out into the woods, I don't need to teach you intuitive eating. The environment's going to teach that for you. I throw you in the woods and put you out in nature, you're going to start eating intuitively, naturally, and you'll lose weight because the environment, that's how you eat. But now all of a sudden I throw you in a grocery store. Which intuitions are you relying on? The ones that you evolved in a natural environment over millions of years? Because those intuitions are going to tell you to eat everything you possibly can because the food might disappear tomorrow. So it seems to me that intuitions, you would have to develop brand new intuitions for our new alien environment that we live in. Because the intuitions we all have, the reason we're all here is because our ancestors had intuitions to eat as much as they possibly could any chance they could get it. Because we all evolved in a food scarce environment. So the intuitions I don't think should be relied upon personally, because now we're in an environment where we're constantly surrounded by an abundant source of hyper palatable foods that trigger all our intuitions to overeat them. So in that sense, I find it, I don't want to keep beating on it, but those are my thoughts. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, my 3 says, that's good, Jim. Post-menopause here. And again, I just want to point out the menopause thing. And I get a lot of shit from people that don't know me. So, oh, easy for you to tell you, fucking obviously not menopause. Obviously I'm not menopause. Okay. But on the flip side, my entire career for the last 20 years has been primarily women in some phase of menopause. So while I personally am not going through menopause, I have helped thousands of women lose weight that have been in some phase of menopause. So I'm not just coming out of this knowing nothing. I'm not just some ignorant guy just spouting shit. I literally, the last 20 years of my life have been in that context. And I've watched woman after woman in a phase of menopause lose weight. So what do you want from me? He said, well, I'm in menopause. I can't lose weight. Well, that's not been my experience. And you're basing your experience on one person. I'm basing my experience on thousands of them. So what do you want from me? I'm speaking my truth. AG says, hi, I like your videos. It helps me to stop mindless overeating. Good job. That's what it's there for. Again, and I know, like I said, well, intuitive, I like aspects of intuitive eating. I just don't think it's a holistic system that's going to really help most people. But yeah, helping yourself to become more mindful, I think is an aspect of success. I think it's a great skill to have. So I'm glad I was able to help you with that. Gabby says, I was obsessing over restricting calories and inevitably binging in the last few weeks. I've purposely stopped obsessing and now I feel so much better, but I'm also seeing the results I was seeking with less stress. Yeah, I'm glad you said that, Gabby. I was literally having that conversation today. I think personally, I think stress is a huge factor of weight mastery. And I can't explain all the reasons. I got a cortisol and very unsatisfying to me, but I will say that stress and relaxation seem like a real important piece of the puzzle. And I think they affect things in a number of ways. So I'm happy that you stopped obsessing. That's helped you calm down and that's helped you get to your results. So great job, Gabby, and reinforce that, because that concept of relaxing yourself thin, relaxing the weight off, stands in stark contrast to dieting. Because dieting, again, I think it's a bunch of bullshit. I think it's conspiracy to make you all overweight. But I think when you go into a diet, how does it feel? And by the way, I don't keep harping on intuitive eating, but I think some of the appeal of intuitive eating that is kind of a sense that it's going to be more relaxing and calm, which stands in contrast to most diets, which most people, the first week of dieting is extremely stressful, overwhelming, tense. Again, that's why I'm programming yourself thin. The first day is relaxing and calm. The first day of programming yourself thin is probably the most relaxing day you've had in years. And that's how you start your weight loss journey, So I see that regularly, that stress and relaxation, the ability to feel more relaxed, I almost always see it correlated with more weight control. So happy to see that for you, Gabby. What's up, Astrid? Hi, Jim. Not on the live today this morning. I got up on 9:15. Good job, Astrid. Good job. Ken says your programs helped me realize that I derive more pleasure from consistent, healthy habits. I'm going to imagine than the food. And that's completely normal. I will give you an example. I literally just got off a call with a client, and she went on a cruise last week, and this was the first time she goes on cruises kind of a lot. And on average, she can put 10 to 15 pounds on during a cruise. And this cruise here, she only put 3 pounds on. I already dropped it. And what she was sharing with me is she goes, I enjoyed this cruise more than I've enjoyed any of the other ones, even though I didn't stuff myself silly and drink too much. And I think that's the big difference with program yourself thin and dieting. Dieting, subconsciously, you associate dieting with deprivation, a lack of pleasure. It's hard, it's difficult. And that's just what you got to do to lose weight. The diet industry has conditioned you to associate pain to weight loss. And I think that's very intentional, because the diet industry doesn't want you to lose weight long-term, folks. Because it's a recurring business. They don't want to lose their customers. But more importantly is that all the diets are pretty much owned by big ass food companies. Weight Watchers was owned by Heinz. Jenny Craig was owned by Nestle. Slim Fast owned by the same company owns Ben & Jerry's ice cream. So these companies are just filling your head with rocks because they don't want you to lose weight. So as a dieter, subconsciously, you associate pain to weight loss. And that's the big lie of dieting, because the truth is that eating healthier, never mind just even the weight loss for a second, eating healthier is the easiest way to start feeling more happiness and joy in your life instantly. And to be honest, there's an aspect of weight mastery, it's not the whole thing. So it's not a parallel concept, but part of weight management and the food issues you have, you can absolutely look at substance abuse and addiction. there are aspects of that model that are very applicable here. And that's very intentional too. X says it's about the fact that you teach us to have a mindset of a thin person. Yes. If we think we live in a thin body and healthy and happy, I love your teaching. Yeah, exactly. A lot of what we're doing here, again, Program Yourself Thin is an inside out approach to weight mastery and weight loss. And so dieting is the opposite, right? Dieting says, well, once I lose the weight, then I'll be a thin person. Now, the problem with that is that 95% of people that lose weight on a diet put the weight back on. So it kind of implies that just because you lose weight, it doesn't seem to soak in and sink in based on those numbers. So Program Yourself Thin is the opposite. We look to think, feel, and kind of live like a thin, healthy person so that we become that on the outside. And I think that without question that it just logically makes a lot more sense. But I now have the advantage of seeing over years that it works a lot better because the people that lose the weight on Program Yourself Thin maintain it because we start with maintenance on day one. The whole program is about maintenance. That's why we call it weight mastery. The difference between weight loss and weight mastery is this, that weight loss is all about getting to your goal weight. Weight mastery is all about living at your goal weight for the rest of your life on your autopilot. And you have not been focusing on that. You treat your maintenance as an afterthought, which is part of the reason why you lose the weight and then put it back on. It's not a mystery. It's just that you're trapped in a hypnotic trance that was put on you by the diet industry. But good job, Kat. AG says, I'm always tired on calorie deficit, even if diet is healthy and good amount of calories. Yeah, well, that's relative though. You know what I mean? Again, I'm always tired on a calorie deficit. As soon as I hear that, I mean, what I'd be saying to you is, well, what kind of calorie deficit? Even if diet is healthy and good amount of calories, I don't know what that means. Because everything's relative. So I don't know what a good amount of calories means. If you're consuming 3,000 calories a day, which the average American is consuming 3,300 calories a day. I know people are shocked when they hear that. Oh, not me. Not me. Why? Because you track your calories when you're on a diet and you can't imagine that. And you never track your calories when you're not on a diet. It's a crazy world out there. But anyways, I don't know what a good amount of calories would be. It's always relative. And so if a good amount of calories is 40% less than you normally eat, yeah, you're going to feel tired. So again, what I would suggest to you is that I'm always tired on a calorie deficit. I would scrap that idea and I would say, I'm going to test this out. Let me cut 10% of my calories out and see how I feel. And I bet if you cut 10% of your calories out, you won't feel tired at all. You won't even notice it. But maybe you've tried that. And if you have, let me know, because then if you did 10%, you felt exhausted. Now I know it's mostly in your head. And I would say, okay, let's focus on sleeping more, relaxing more, drinking water, nourishing yourself. Let's just give it a little bit of time. Give your body and mind a little bit of time to acclimate at 10% so you can get used to that. And then once you're used to it and your energy comes back up again, then we can bring it back down a little bit. So again, there's always strategies to help with people. But again, dieting doesn't invite you to bring strategic thinking into the process. Dieting invites you to be a nervous wreck and to just be very emotional and very strict and very rigid. And so there's not a lot of flexibility and awareness and solution-oriented thinking and strategic thinking with dieting and weight loss. And that's why most of you are struggling. And why most of you could get better quick. Sarah Stewart says, yep, they want us sick. They definitely want us sick. Yeah. No doubt about it, unfortunately. Yeah. Next says, but some foods are low in calories, show on the package, but high in sugar. Yep. Too much sugar can make it hard to lose weight. It could, but I mean, again, it really just comes down to calories ultimately. Again, the thing with sugar is that it promotes more overeating. The thing with salt isn't just that salt's going to make your metabolism hold on to the weight more. It does hold you a water weight temporarily, but the big thing about salt and weight is that it causes you to overeat. If you don't believe that, go get some salt-free version of a food that you eat and see how much of it you can eat. You'll be shocked. You can't even eat anywhere near the same. And then never mind. I mean, I could talk about salt all day, but the big thing I'll leave you with is Cheez-Its. There's this book where the guy went to the Cheez-It factory and they gave him some Cheez-Its with no salt on it. And I will never forget what he said. He goes, they tasted like metal filings, because most processed food is made out of the shittiest, cheapest quality ingredient they can use. And then they put, I call it palatants, because that's what they use in the livestock industry. They do the same thing with animals. They're treating us all like livestock, folks. And the way the livestock industry works is it's all about profit. And so the core driver of livestock is, how do we get them as big as we can, as fast as we can, as cheaply as we can? And so with the livestock industry, a big part of what it's built around is, how do we give them the cheapest food possible that they'll fucking eat? Because the problem is that when you give them the cheapest food, they don't eat it. It's gross. So they use a thing called palatants, which are flavorings, but they're flavorings that stimulate these animals to overeat. And so they do the same. They call them flavorings for humans, but palatants, it's the same thing. Let's see what I want to see what the technical definition of palatants is. Yeah, okay. So they're flavor enhancers to improve palatability and encourage consumption. That's a industry term, though. I will let you know. And so it's worse than that. It's you know, I tell you this, I say this all the time, but it's like, we don't really know what we're up against anymore. People have the intuition that, when you eat processed foods, you have this fairy tale marketing story in your mind that, whatever you're reading was created in a kitchen, a bunch of chefs cooking away, experimenting, comparing recipes. And in reality, most modern food now is made in labs by chemists. You know how Ben and Jerry's makes their new flavors of ice cream, at least part of their process, right? Is that you think of like two hippies in a cabin in Vermont, cooking up different flavors. What do you think of this one, man? You know what I mean? Like, you had this idea in your mind, but the reality now, they make their flavors now. They put people into an fMRI machine that scans their brain in real time, so they can see when their pleasure centers of their brain light up, and they drip different ice cream solutions onto their tongue. And the ones that make the brain pleasure centers light up the most, that's the ones they go with. So again, it's much more like creating designer drugs than it is have anything to do with, recipes of food as you typically have thought about it. Sorry to bum you out. But anyways, so that's the palatants concept is that you basically take the shittiest ingredient possible, and it's, how can we put this magical flavoring on it that overrides the brain to cause you to eat bullshit? Because most of what you're eating is corn, soy, and meat, corn, soy, meat, and wheat. That's like is like 80% of the food that people eat. And so it's the illusion of variety, right? Because, and that's the big thing. That's the big trend now in food marketing, by the way. What they find is hot right now is taking a brand that you're familiar with, a flavor you're familiar with, a brand you're familiar with, and then tweaking it a little bit. So this is why now when you go down the thing, you'll see, a potato chip brand that, and there's 40 different flavors of it. Right. And that's what everything is. It's like you have the core thing that you like, but now it's just it's one click over. And that's what's real appealing in food marketing now. But the truth is that as much variety as it seems to us, it's an illusion, because at the end of the day, it's just flavoring variety, because the substrate at the base is the same shit ass thing for all of them. Whether it's dill pickle flavor, barbecue flavor, sweet chili, and chocolate bars, whatever fucking bullshit they come up with, it's all put on the same shitty substrate of, completely stripped of any nutritional value wheat. It's not even wheat. It's not even corn. It's a stripped down ass version of it. And, and then it's got all sorts of other bullshit to make it even cheaper. And that's what you're consistently putting in your body, is bullshit. Sorry to sound so negative. Yeah. So funny. Yeah, exactly why we eat less foods that are bland. And I will tell you, I don't like to say this very often, because I know this is instantly turns people off. But for me personally, part of my eating strategy is to eat bland foods. I eat bland foods intentionally to keep my bland dial calibrated to a low level. Because if you don't do that, you're just spinning off into the moon where bland food tastes like shit to you. And that's the vast majority of people. There is something about highly processed foods that seems to not only cause you to get addicted to those hyper palatable flavors, but simultaneously causes you to reject whole natural flavors. So it's a part of my complete food strategy to consistently consume bland foods because I want to keep my taste buds calibrated to normal natural flavors so that I can appreciate the flavors of a carrot versus celery, onion versus radish. I can appreciate the subtleties of those flavors because if I'm eating is bullshit, hyper palatable, flavor enhanced bullshit, then that's so it's like, again, it's like listening to music on like 8 or 9. You're blowing out your eardrums. So now you can't appreciate the subtleties of music quieter, and so these hyper flavorings are blowing out all your taste buds so that the only thing that's even remotely appealing is hyper palatable shit. And anything that's natural flavoring tastes completely bland and boring and you don't want it. It's part of the plan. No Tangle Marie says, I lost 51 pounds, calorie deficit, intermittent fasting lately. All I have is food noise. Yes. You're not not Angela Marie. You're literally the person I'm here for. I say this as often as I can that why do I do this every day? I think about this. This is a commitment. I will say, like I serve on a nonprofit board, and it's a volunteer thing, it's a charity. But this podcast is like that. I do this every day and usually an hour, 2 hours sometimes, every day for free. Like I could be working and doing shit, but I do this for why do I do it? And there's a lot of reasons, but the core of it gets right down to this, that people that really put all this work and effort in calorie counting, calorie deficiting, intermittent fasting, ketoing it's a pick your poison. I don't give a shit, any of them. And you do all this work and you get your weight down and you get to the point where you realize you're going to have a real hard time maintaining this, which is virtually every single dieter. Again, the statistics say 95 to 98% of people that lose weight on a diet put it back on. Those are the primary people I'm here for. Because, it's one thing to be overweight and be like, I got to lose the weight. I want to lose the weight. And you just never do it. That's most people. Okay, whatever. I want to help you too. Okay. But it's the people that actually do it and believe in the bullshit and do all the work to get your weight down only to find out that you can't keep this up. Because that's what diets are. They're not built for the long term. In all of our history, there's not one diet that's built for the long term. Think about that. The closest you could say is Weight Watchers, and that's because it's bullshit, because Weight Watchers is a social situation. So that masked the fact that what's the Weight Watchers diet? That you're going to count fucking points? Weight Watchers without the social component would be as stupid as all the rest of them. So I'm not arguing. I think Weight Watchers is the best one simply because it's not a fucking only a diet. It offered, and less now, but it offered a social component. But if you strip that social component out, which they're doing anyways, it's as dumb as all the rest of them. The plan's you understand? So what I'm trying to tell you is there's not one diet out there that has been proven to be good. You couldn't even give me one that's going to help you long-term lose it. So this is the thing that literally breaks my heart more than anything, is that you do all this work, you put all this effort in and you drop the weight doing the diet. And then you realize I don't know how I'm going to keep this up. Because what happens, the realization you get to is that, when you want to lose weight, you have to understand what happens is the excitement of the weight loss replaces the excitement of the food. And the scariest part for a dieter is when they start to get to their goal weight. Because now, what are you looking forward to? First of all, you're conditioned by diets to believe in this fucking fairy tale that you're going to lose the weight, get to your goal, and everything's going to be magical. It's not. It's better for a lot of reasons, but it's just this much better for most people because it's a thing called hedonic adaptation. You just adapt to being at this new weight and life's still dumping bullshit on you every day. You're still going to have financial stresses, relationship stresses, work stresses, health stresses, whatever. And now you don't have like this Shangri-La that you go, oh, well, once I lose the weight, then everything's gonna be amazing. People don't realize just how the sweet spot of a diet is to imagine you're gonna lose the weight. It's a constant yearning for something that you never get to. And so you get to the point where you lose the weight, and now what do? What are you looking forward to? You realize the way you lost the weight was so hard and difficult that it required an ungodly amount of motivation and focus. And the only way you could generate that motivation and focus was by always looking forward to this amazing weight loss. Step on the scale, it's down. All right. All right. All right. And then once that goes away and you're okay, no more weight loss, where does the excitement come from? Sorry to be negative, but again, I'm here for you because you're the ones that break my heart, because most people, being overweight may be tough. You may think it's hard, but the hardest thing of all is when you lose the weight and then put it back on. That shit is devastating. And most people can deal with that 3 or 4 times before they just totally give up. Because they get to a point where they associate weight loss with failure. And they can't get them. Most of my clients fall into this category. They've lost weight a number of times and put the weight back on. And now subconsciously they say, what's the point? Even if I lose weight, I fucking fail. I'm not even going to start. I'm not even going to do it. That's where most of my clients come into work with me, is they can't even get themselves started anymore. And this is why, because you don't believe the diet's going to work now. Even if you start to lose weight, it doesn't matter. You're going to put the weight back on. And that's why I say, this is the point for you to start focusing on weight mastery. I think you should focus on weight mastery from the beginning, but you've lost a bunch of weight. Great job. I know to lose 51 pounds takes a tremendous amount of effort. So congratulations. You're obviously an action-oriented person. And I can't stress enough, please go to my bio, click the link and get the hypnosis session I made for you, but watch the video I made for you. Everything I talk about is about living at your goal weight. It's living at your 51 pound less weight forever, easily. And one of the biggest things we deal with, food noise is the kind of the word of the year because of the medicines, but I've been dealing with food noise for 30 years. Food noise is just one aspect of your internal dialogue, how you talk to yourself. And you wonder why you have food noise? You're exposed to over 1,000 food ads a day, every day, your entire life. And you live in a diet culture. And so you don't know how to influence your thinking. And food noise is a really vague ass term. But yes, you're going to have to figure out how to deal with the food noise if you want to live at your goal weight forever. So great job, but do it now. Do not think you're going to fight the food noise off. You're not going to. The food noise ultimately is going to win. Think about the food noise like a hypnotist in your head just whispering at you. And if that food noise is whispering at you 24 hours a day, it's going to win eventually. You can't fight against it forever. I don't want that to sound defeatist, because I'm talking about how to fix it. But the first step in fixing the food noise is to realize you can never fight against it forever. You could fight against it when you were really excited and fired up to lose weight. But now that you've lost a lot of the weight and that excitement is quieted down, you're now really aware of the food noise. And this is what is waiting for all of you. So, yeah, processed foods are designed to make people eat and cannot stop eating more, keep wanting more. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, again, the processed food is, again, this is one of those things where you think about processed foods in a completely inaccurate way. You think of it as just like food. First of all, processed food, you should start calling food stuff. It's not technically food. That distinction's crucial. But on top of that, this food stuff is designed by people that are way smarter than you, that know way more about your biology and psychology than you do, and are creating things that are just too powerful for you. That's simple. Kelly says, I can assess hunger and fullness better when eating whole foods, and they just make my body feel better, but I will never be perfect with it. Yeah. And I'm glad I don't have to be perfect. Yeah, again, Kelly's in the program. So yes, again, assessing hunger and fullness better with whole foods. Absolutely. Because whole foods are natural. You've evolved over millions of years to be able to understand whole foods. That's what you've eaten. And all of a sudden, these hyperpalatable foods, they are literally created and engineered to bypass a lot of your biological functioning. which just a fancy way to say they're literally created to get you to overeat. And that process is more in depth than you think. See, again, you always take everything on as a personal shortcoming. If you're a dieter, you always just blame your willpower and your self-control, but you're not seeing the full picture. And once you do, it sets you up for more success. Someone said the Scarsdale diet. Let's look that up. I've looked this up in the past, but they all blur together. Let's see what that one's all about. Yeah, Scarsdale diet, a diet, high protein, low carb, fad diet designed for weight loss, created in the 70s by Herman. I don't like to say fad right away. By the way, I didn't mean to. I feel like that's kind of dismissive, and I don't mean that. With its extreme restrictions and quick fix ideology. Well, it's not sounding good so far. The Scarsdale diet started as a 2-page diet sheet. The diet allows a mere 1,000 calories a day. Okay, so I mean, I was asking if there's any diet that gave you a comprehensive, holistic strategy to master your weight forever. So that's clearly not it. You're not gonna get 1,000 calories a day forever. So I'm not sure. Maybe you meant something else by that. I know you're here usually, Zoe. So I don't think you're saying the Scarsdale diet would be another alternative. Melancholy Green says, my son asked me if I like fries or if I like ketchup. My daughter says to pay attention to food as vehicles for condiments. Condiments are entertainment. Oh, so true. I love that. That's a great. Listen, another way to understand the food now is to understand the cigarette industry, because it's the same now. Just so you all know, the food industries that you love so much and you have such warm, fuzzy feelings for the food industry and the food companies, they're the cigarette companies. Like literally, Nabisco and RJR Reynolds are literally merged together, the same company. The parent company of Kraft and General Foods is Philip Morris. So the food companies now at this point are the cigarette companies, and they use the same philosophy. And they refer to, in the cigarette business, they refer to cigarettes as nicotine delivery devices. So a lot of times, right on that ballpark, is that a lot of times foods become condiment delivery devices. And I think that's a real interesting framing, that yes, absolutely. The fries, is it the fries or the ketchup? Now it is both, because again, the fries in themselves, it's fat, salt, sometimes sugar, but it's fat and salt is very addictive. And then, you take the sugar, as the condiments. So you put them together and you have a very addictive food. So very, very true. Just Jade says, condiments are my weakness. I love ranch so much. Yeah, I get it. We all got weaknesses too. There's always certain foods that just trigger us more than others. Completely normal, right? Mike Pridgeon says, people don't love coffee. They love cream and sugar. So coffee is the vehicle for what entertains the palate. I like the thought to make food boring. Yeah, I drink coffee, but I drink it black. And I start off with the coffee milkshakes, just like everyone else. They're delicious. But I said to myself, I'm not going to drink milkshakes all the time, because I want to control my weight and live the life that gives me. So I made a decision. I worked on it. And I weeded out the coffee and the cream and the sugar. And now I just drink coffee black. And again, but that's part of the overall philosophy, to really calibrate and cultivate more bland taste buds. I do that very intentionally. And so everything's relative. So when I focus on, now again, program yourself, then we have clean and pleasure days. So my clean days, I really am looking to make the food much more bland and just normal and natural, so that when I go on the weekends and I have our pleasure meals, I don't have to go off the charts to dazzle my taste buds anymore. I can just kind of go a bit more. And so by keeping my bland food here, when I eat the more, taste bud dazzling foods, it's still in the healthy category. So that's important, I think. Melancholy said, I just ate cauliflower pizza with ranch yesterday, but cauliflower and ranch isn't a salad if it's from a box labeled pizza. Yeah, true story. But again, it's always baby steps. Always think about things in a spectrum. Again, we're conditioned to think about all or nothing, black or white thinking, but don't do that. The more we start thinking about spectrums. And so, going from wheat, wheat crust to a cauliflower crust, I think that's a improvement. Right now, again, we within context, right? So, but it's an improvement. And if we keep focusing, again, Program Yourself is built around the 1% better a day philosophy. So every day we're looking to get 1% better. And that's how you get amazing results that last. All right. So every day we get a little bit better. Kerbell says this is mind blowing. Good. I'm glad. Oh, Ezra says shocking about Ben and Jerry's. Yeah, it's gross. And they all do that. It's funny. So I was talking, my family and I were talking because I told them a couple years ago I'd read about how Frito-Lay. Now, Frito-Lay, right? So it's just like, again, think about what you think, right? It's not true. Yeah, it's like this with all these processed food companies. But Frito-Lay has, and I may mess some of the numbers up, but they have like a 40,000 acre campus down in Texas where they basically just work on, like Willy Wonka, but bad. Because it's just like the most, it's just so manipulative. Anyway, so one of the things they have there, maybe it's a 20,000 acre thing. I'm about to say 40,000. So they have a $40,000 machine there that's a chewing machine. And basically what it's designed to do is to figure out the perfect pounds per square inch that makes the most addictive crunch in a human mouth. And we were joking about it because one of the big things we've noticed over this last year or something, and it was first, they'd gotten it with Cheez-Its. And, they're called Snap apostrophe D. And it's a brand new thing. It's like, and you crunch it and it's just like dopamine and just the crunch of it. And so now we're starting to notice it's a bunch of different things. I think like Doritos has one, and they all start to have it because it's a new technology. And it's built and designed. I'm not going to say like certain substances. I have to speak of this artfully because TikTok will ban me. But it's like if you think about substances that people get addicted to, they don't get addicted to the natural thing. So people having coca leaves don't get addicted to coca leaves. It's when you manipulate that and you bring it down to its most concentrated form. That's where people have a real issue with it. And so it's the same thing with a lot of modern processed food stuffs, is that they're manipulated down to their most addictive pieces. And that's what you're offered. So it's no longer food. So yeah. Lisa says mostly to make the shelf life longer. That's not true. It's not mostly to make the shelf life longer. It's to make the food as addictive as possible primarily. And then, yeah, shelf life is absolutely a factor, but the primary impetus behind food engineering at this point is to make it as addictive as possible. That's number one. That's the most of it. As says, Jim, I used your practice of identifying your worst eating habit and working on that. Well, once I got one down, I had to tackle another. The first was fast food. Now it's night snacking. The weight is falling off. Yeah, great job, Azra. And that's how it goes. And again, this method is going to set Azra up for long-term success, not just temporary weight loss. And it's a comfortable way to make it happen on top of it. So you're not freaking out to make it happen. So program yourself tins of stuff. It's the stuff. If you're remotely serious about your weight, you got to go get the free hypnosis session video I make for you. Lisa says, I love the way celery and raw taste now. Yeah, that's great. And once that happens, and again, that's something you cultivate. Your tastes are malleable, folks. And so if you start to cultivate of desire and a craving for more natural whole foods, it's called a leveraged behavior, because if you do that, it changes lots of other things automatically. So again, your attention and efforts strategically placed into changing your taste buds a bit yields lots more results. Great job, Elisa. That's great. Artace says, you're so right, brother. Absolutely 100%. Well, thank you. Yes, I really am right. I'm not right about everything, but I'm right about most of it. And I know that because everything I'm saying is based on real world stuff. I work with real normal people to help them lose weight for good in a real world situation. And you don't get a lot of that. What you get is diets that are drastic overreactions to lose weight as fast as possible. And that usually means as temporary as possible. Lisa says, when you try restrict processed foods, the brain goes through withdrawal from the chemicals. That is true. That is true. That is absolutely true. Not Angela Marie says, thank you for responding. You're welcome. That's what I'm here for. Again, everyone, I'm here every day, Monday through Friday. So if you ever have questions about your weight, get on here. This is literally my dharma. This is my service to the world, and I'm happy to help you out for free. That's what I want to do. So please get on here and ask your questions, and I will answer them. Yeah, Vicky says Scarsdale diet definitely had its moment, but not for the long haul. Yeah, I remember reading about it before, but I mean, 1,000 calories, again, it's that short-term focus. Nah, not gonna last. Lisa says a good patch to deliver the perfect amount of calories and nutrients needed. Black coffee and cinnamon. Ooh, yeah, that's pretty interesting. I never tried that. Biggie says all or something is life-changing once you grasp the concept and its transference to so many realms. Absolutely. Again, Biggie's in the program, living what she's talking about. D says, what if you're having troubles changing your worst eating habits? Yeah, well, I mean, you're gonna have troubles changing your worst eating habit. That's to be expected. You know, I don't like to say this out loud too much because people get too discouraged by it. But let's just say your worst eating. I'll speak for me, okay? My worst eating habit was eating at night. I would, and I had a lot of bad eating habits, but that was the worst, most egregious one. Is an hour, 2 hours after eating dinner every night, I would sit and basically eat for 3 hours, right, 3, 4 hours, pretty much right up until bed. And so I got to work on this. I worked on that for months and months and months and months. I don't remember now exactly how long it took, but I mean, I feel like it easily could have been up to a year, maybe. I don't know. So, yeah, you're going to have trouble changing your worst eating habit. It's like if you want to learn to play the piano, right? And I say, okay, let's practice this scale. Well, this is hard. I'm having trouble learning. I'm having trouble doing this smooth as you are. Yeah, no shit. You're learning how to do it. When you're learning something, it feels hard and uncomfortable. That's the literal definition and process of learning. If you do something new, if you learn something and you just do it, you didn't learn it. You already knew it. So doing something new is hard. I mean, it could be as simple too as like, go ahead and brush your teeth with the other hand. Guess what? You're going to have trouble doing it. So yeah, learning things is difficult, but what's the point of it, right? So what if you spent 6 months working on your worst eating habit? And you just keep focused on it, working on it, because we're not just looking to stop it. We're looking to replace it with a better strategy. We're looking to train ourselves to exist in this new way. So let's just say it took me a year. I can't remember now, but say it took me a year to finally get rid of my nighttime snacking habit. But once I got rid of it, because let's use correct language here, I didn't just get rid of it. I learned how to behave differently at night. And that became normal and natural for me. So technically, you don't get rid of behaviors. You create new behaviors in that situation. So I didn't get rid of nighttime eating. I learned how to go through the evening watching TV without eating. Now, that may sound like the same thing to you. It is not, but that's okay. So a year later, let's just say it took me a year. Oh my God, a year? That's too long. Okay. But let's just say it's a year later, and now I just automatically go through the nights. I eat dinner and I'm done now. And imagine you got that so dialed in that that's just what you did. And for the rest of your life, that's what you did. Well, by my estimates, at night, I used to consume 500 to 1,000 calories every night. And now a year later, I've completely eliminated 500 to 1,000 calories every day from my body. Would that be worth it for you? It's this way of thinking that you need to start to adopt, because what we're doing is we're investing in our habits. We're investing in our behaviors long term. And if it takes a little while initially, well, no shit. If you want to practice writing with the other hand, everything there is to know about writing, but just practicing with the other hand, it's going to take a while for it to be smooth. So yeah, you're going to have troubles. The point is to have troubles, and then now D's in the program. So you rehearse, you get fixated on that behavior, redo and rehearsing it every night, making little tweaks, little changes, optimizing. How can I do it better? What else could I do? How could I try it? If I go back in time, what would I have done differently? Over and over and over and over and over again. And it won't take you a year, most likely. 2 months from now, you're like, holy shit, I got a real handle on it. But you got a handle on it in a way that's not like dieting where you just stopped it and you're fighting against it. Dieting is like trying to hold a ball underwater. It takes constant focus, effort, and attention. What we're looking to do is to install a new way of being in different situations that run automatically. So it's built on the long term. So hopefully that helps you, D. And then the other question, D, is get on, and you can talk about it here if you choose to, or get on the Tuesday calls and ask questions. Okay. And I'll talk to you about whatever your specific worst eating habit is. We'll talk about it. But as you focus on it, and then finally, I will say just real quick, you're looking at it in a problem-oriented way. This is kind of a tendency you have, D. is you tend to frame things in a problem-oriented way and it gets you stuck. Now, this is a problem for all of you, so don't pick on D. At least he has a chance of fixing it because he's in the program. But you overthinkers, your biggest challenge is not overthinking. It's that you're overthinkers who are obsessed with problems. And so you're trapped in problem-oriented thinking. And so D, make it a solution-oriented question. How can I make more headway with my worst eating habit? How can I change this worst eating habit and start to succeed with it? What are some strategies I can use to help me fix this? And see what we come up with. What's up, Shireen? Shireen's in the program. So happy to catch you. Did you get on late today? I'm late today. No, I've just been going long. I gotta get the hell out of here. Ninderson, I'm addicted to food and feel so ashamed. Again, you're another person I'm here for. I don't want you to feel ashamed. Okay. You've been hooked on this shit with no real doing of your own. And the shame, unfortunately, just leads to more food eating. I know that's not satisfying to you, but I got to get out of here. So I can't go into it much deeper right now. But what I would suggest, go to my bio, click the link, get the hypnosis session, watch the video I made. All right. And do what you can to not feel ashamed. There's no reason to feel shame. Shame is an emotion that's been, once again, you've been conditioned to feel shame in terms of your weight, your dieting struggles, all this stuff. And it's because shame causes you to have more troubles with your weight. So one of the best things you can do is learn to put the shame aside and work on feeling better. And I know that's small comfort, but I promise you can do it. And if you go and check my shit out, I will help you do it for free. Donna said, I stopped eating at 6 p.m. and I was happy until I started having a damn good fest at 5:30. Wait, what? Did you have a time machine? I stopped eating at 6 p.m. and I was happy until I started having a damn good fest at 5:30 p.m. Now I'm confused. Until I started having a damn good food at 5:30 p.m. It's the time thing that's confusing me. Am I talking to Marty McFly? Is this Donna or is this Doc? Do you have a Dolores? I'm just joking. Like I said, I love listening and listening to Solution Oriented Mindset. Yeah. We're listening to Solution Oriented Mindset. Yeah. That training's really good. Listen, love listening. Thank you and all you're doing. You're welcome. Thanks for listening. Food Fest. Hi from Spain. Hey, from Spain. How's it going? Donna says, Jimmy, I would eat a lot knowing 6 p.m. was coming. Oh, she started binging at 5:30? Look at Don trying to help me out. Oh, because she stopped eating at 6? Oh, I would eat a lot knowing 6 was coming. I think I got you. Okay. Yeah. So, okay. So you stopped eating at 6, but then you ate a bunch of food before that because you knew you were going to stop eating at 6. And I don't mind that. I mean, that was a part of the strategy I used, by the way. When I wanted to stop eating at night, one of the things I did is I started eating more dinner. And people said, well, yeah, how'd you lose weight then? Well, I think long term, so I didn't have to lose weight right away. My first goal was to see what's it like to stop eating at night. That was the first thing I had to kind of wrap my head around. I'm like, if I eat a lot at dinner, it'll make it easier not to eat at night. And so my first goal was, let me see what it feels like to go through the night without eating. I don't give a shit if I lose weight. So if that's what you're saying, I think that's a great phase, big deal. And then once you get that handle on it, now then that once it felt normal to stop eating at 6 and then go through the night without eating, I would normalize that for a couple months, probably at least a couple weeks, make that feel normal. And then I would say, okay, now let me kind of cut down the eating I'm doing from 5:30 to 6. It's like, isn't it crazy? Like when you get to hear like just fucking common sense and you're like, oh, I always get my clients. It's always the same way. And I get it. I was this way when I was going through this shit, but it's just like, we're so conditioned to think like dipshits by the dieting industry that it's like, you're all smart enough to get amazing results, but it's like, you're not even, you dieters, and especially if you're listening to this, like, I know you're intelligent, overthinking people who can get amazing results. But what happens is you've been conditioned and brainwashed by the diet industry to think like dipshits. You're not using your full brain powers when it comes to this. And it's really amazing when all of a sudden you calm down and you start to think normal, because it is a lot of common sense stuff. But what happens is when we have a time frame this big, we lose all common sense. And when we have all the emotion we attach to dieting, we lose common sense. I was just something that's been helping me fall asleep is to your podcast as well, Jim. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, it's a great strategy. Good. I'm glad it made you feel better. Raven says, I eat fresh fruit and veggies at night. It's just fine. And it fits within my daily calorie goal. That's a great strategy. I think, again, I mean, just, it's so simplistic. I don't say it, but the most simple strategy you have available to you and the most effective one is to eat more whole natural foods, more fruits, vegetables, greens, beans, whole grains. The more those you eat, that's the secret for a million reasons. So, all right, everyone, we get out of here. Thank you so much for listening. You guys are awesome. I really enjoyed all the stuff you were writing. Totally appreciate it. So, if you, again, are not in my world, go click the link in my bio, go get the hypnosis session, watch the video I made. I'm here every day, Monday through Friday, do this live. So get on here, ask your questions. It is a podcast too. So if you want to listen to it, it's Program Yourself Thin. It's on all podcast platforms. Go check it out. And, yeah, have a super day and we'll talk soon. Bye.